This is a presentation that I did actually the first time I stood up on the Life University stage as a presenter, and it was originally titled, Look the Part, Be the Part, but I just wanted to change the title. I said, here's looking at you, doc, kind of like here's looking at you, kid, right? Because people look at you as a doctor. In fact, they look at you differently than they look at anybody else. Do any of you feel that from the people when you're in your office, maybe? Do you feel like people hold you at a higher standard? Raise your hand. Maybe when you're out in the community, do you think that as a doctor, people put you at a higher standard? I'm not seeing any hands up, so I guess you guys don't think that the way you look matters? Well, if you don't think that the way you look matters, I'm here to tell you that it does. And I used to be a person who didn't think that it mattered. It took me a long time, actually, to accept the hat of being a doctor. I wanted to be on the level with my patients. I wanted to be able to relate to them as people. And I thought that if I was more like them, then I would be more successful. But that just wasn't true. And my husband always would tell me that, well, actually, I'll tell you a story. We were gonna go out one time. I was gonna go to Home Depot, actually. I was in the middle of a project, and I was dirty. And I didn't want to change my clothes to go to Home Depot because I'm just going to go right back home and get in a muddy pit of sprinkler hell. I know we've all been there if you own a house, excuse me. But I was getting ready to leave, and my husband's like, you're not going to go out looking like that, are you? And I was like, offended. And I was like, yeah, right? And we had this conversation more than once, frankly. And he just kept basically not saying it exact same way, but putting it in my head that, you know, you're a doctor. The way you look matters, and the way that people perceive you matters. And so one day, I took his advice, and I changed my clothes before I went to Home Depot. And Home Depot is 5 minutes from my house. Thank God, because I love Home Depot. And guess who I ran into? Exactly. Like, I'm walking out, I'm like, whoa. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so glad I changed my clothes. And that's when it actually hit me that my husband was right. And yes, that's the only time he's going to hear that. So I decided that obviously I'm not the only person like me out there, right? There's other people that have to be just like me who think that what you wear doesn't matter. You can just be on the level of your patients and everything's going to be great. I'm here to tell you today that what you wear matters. The way you look matters. And the way you look matters because that's how you're going to make money. Just to tail off of what Amanda said, we're all here to make money. We are here to help people, but there's always a product of goods and services, right? There's exchange of goods and services. And you give services, they give money. It's just the way that it works. I like to make money. Anybody else? All right, cool. So I'm wearing blue today, by the way, because closers wear blue. It's a fact. It's a statistical fact in sales. Every day that I do a new patient exam, guess what color I wear? What color do I wear when I do a report of findings? I'm not here to sell you anything today except for my ideas, but those are things that I do. Other days in my office, I might wear something different. We're going to talk about that in just a moment. But let's talk about people's perceptions. Maybe. Home Depot. Wear great clothes. You never know who you're going to meet. First impressions are everything. Did you guys think I looked good and successful when I walked up in the first 5 seconds on this stage? Thank you. Did you have an impression and an assumption about me in the first 7 seconds about what my success might be? Absolutely you did. That's a statistical fact also. Within seconds of meeting someone for the first time, your appearance, body language, and nonverbal communication will create a lasting first impression. So I'm glad that I've made a first impression on you that was positive. Your patients, just like you, will form a first impression within the first 7 seconds. Look at that. 5 of which revolve around your clothes. Sorry. They will size you up before you even say a word. Nonverbal communication is essential. It's not what you're saying, it's what you're doing that matters. Actions always speak louder than words. When you look good, your patients are actually more receptive to what you have to say. You're there to relate to them, but you are there to actually give them advice and guide them and to be a leader. And if you're going to be a leader, you're not on their level. I hate to say that, but it's true. When you look good when you walk into a room with a new patient, it allows you to say, I am a leader and I am someone that you should listen to. And as I said earlier, like it or not, looks do matter. It frames the person within. We judge each other based on our looks, although we know it shouldn't be the reality, but it is a reality. Do you guys agree? You're absolutely right. In fact, more than half of somebody's perception of you is how you look. We are hardwired to worry about the way that people look. It comes down to primitive times, believe it or not. We're so primitive on the inside. Before we were in a modern society, the way you looked helped determine if a human was healthy, sick, friendly, hostile. It could lead to a better chance of survival based upon somebody's impression of how you looked to know if you needed help or not. Even Hippocrates said, a doctor should look like a clean person, well-dressed, and annotated with sweet-smelling agents. I realize that in our profession you can't always have agents on you because people are sensitive to smell, but come on. Take showers before you go to the office. Don't smell like BO. Brush your teeth. Worry about the way your breath smells. Because there's doctors, I did this talk the first time I had a doc come up to me, man, I'm so glad you said that. Because I can't tell you how many doctors stink. And I'm not talking about their technique. Again, patients are going to evaluate you by your appearance. You have a non-verbal advantage of gaining the trust of these people by simply looking the part. Your clothing is more powerful than you think. And again, people judge us by the way that we look and dress. Whatever you choose to wear, consider how does it impact what you know, how you perform, and how others are going to interact with you. Closers wear blue. People judge you as soon as they see you. If you want to succeed, you can't ignore the fashion requirements of your industry. Why would you want to give somebody a negative perception when they meet you? Your clothes matter on that perception. And in our industry, I know that we have a lot of different attires, and that's fine. But I'm going to tell you a few things about maybe how you might want to consider your attire. First, if you want to be taken seriously, inspire confidence and establish a presence, start by dressing for success. Care about what you look like every single day. Always dress to kill, because people definitely judge a book by its cover, especially in business. I love killing people. Thank you for laughing. Okay, so your image portrays a lot of things. Skills, experience, those are critical to your success, but so is your professional image. You may not like it, but even if you're the best qualified candidate, if you don't look good, you're not going to get the job. In fact, everybody knows that people that look better make more money and get hired first. Before even uttering a word, your image says so much about you. Your perceived level of intelligence, confidence, ability, self-esteem, power beliefs, and your business, philosophy, culture. Your image says so much. It's a big part of creating success. It's especially true as a business owner. I'm not just talking about doctors. We are also business owners. How many of you own your own business? I own my own business too, so I try to look as good as I can every day. When you have an indifferent professional image, it says that you have an indifferent attitude. And if you have an indifferent attitude in one of your new patients, how do you think they're going to feel about the care that you offer them? Do you think that they're going to want it or be indifferent about it? Exactly. And what does that do? Does that affect your bottom line? Exactly. Exactly. Visual branding. You are your brand. A polished professional image is your own personal visual branding. Now, we're talking about status quo in a culture, I suppose, in a profession, but you can have a signature style. My husband, for example, always wears a suit and a tie. In fact, he wore ties until he came to life, and then he didn't because he noticed other people didn't. And then he decided that he wanted to again because it just made him feel better. Because that's his personal style. And that's always the way that he has been. It's all about how you see yourself and how you want to be judged. I hate to say you got to fit in a box, but it's hip to be square. You know, you young people might not know what I'm talking about, because I use that in my office for certain exercises I do with people. They're like, ugh? And I'm like, Huey Lewis and the News? You never heard of them? And they're like, I don't know. And I'm like, YouTube. Okay, so when you're wearing stuff, you have a strong visual statement. So you got to think, do I want to wear flip-flops and sweats, pajamas, revealing clothes? Is that how you want to be judged? Or do you think that expressing your individuality is showing that you're a serious professional? It can if you wear suits and ties all the time, but if you're wearing Lulus that are stretched so tight that you can see your blue underwear underneath, I don't know, what does that say? It says you got blue underwear on. I mean, closers do wear blue, but come on. So it's all about patient perception, all right? Complying with these stereotypes, fitting inside of the box, can help improve how others see you in your given role. Accept the fact that you're a doctor. It's wonderful. People love you. You help them every day. We want to make sure that we're dressing in a way that reflects the level of professionalism that is also mindful of the patient's preferences. You always dress as good as your best looking patient. That way you always look as good as them, and they're always going to see you at that level. Patients notably have clear preferences about what they feel doctors should wear, and attire affects their perception of the doctor. Do you think your patient's perception of you matters? Yes. It absolutely does, because otherwise they won't give you their money. In an office setting, patients prefer a doctor that appears formal rather than casual. Scrubs are viewed unfavorably, often resulting in negative impressions. Now, I will caveat this to say that if you are a surgical doctor, they would rather see you in scrubs than in professional business attire. I don't think I included that in this, but I remember reading that. Doctors, either gender in suits or white coats, are more likely to inspire trust and build confidence during an encounter. I know that there's a lot of debate in chiropractic about wearing a white coat. I do not wear one. I have friends that do, but you can't deny the facts. We fit in a box. We are labeled doctors. Therefore, this is the way people build confidence in us. So don't hate the hater. Don't play the player. Just wear what makes you look good that allows the patient to have more confidence and trust in you. And don't judge people if they wear something that you don't wear. Even though one study said that patients wouldn't consciously claim that what the doctor was wearing didn't matter, their ultimate responses showed that traditional attire associated with what we wear were associated with perceptions of knowledge, honesty, and providing the best care. So people can say one thing on the surface, but subconsciously there's a lot going on, and what you wear matters. Did I say that yet? Another thing beyond what you wear is you want your people to think, are you kind and are you smart? Smile. People love somebody that smiles. Oh, thank you. See, and if you smile, other people will smile, right? It automatically brings up your mood. It also makes you look smarter. Oh, I'm going to smile a lot more. Okay, now here's a big one. Overweight doctors are not perceived as intelligent doctors. They're perceived as untrustworthy. Why do you think that is? I mean, exactly. Practice what you preach. If you're a big, obese doctor coming in and saying, I want you to be healthy, I mean, isn't that kind of contradictory? I agree. I loved this one. Our view of overweight doctors may even be worse than our view of other overweight people, because the reality is doctors should know better. Practice what you preach. In fact, studies show that patients are less likely to follow a doctor's advice if they are overweight. They have to be able to trust your opinion. Look the part, be the part. So how does it affect your money? People are more likely to give money or information to somebody who is dressed well. Tell me all your secrets. That's what you're asking your patients to do, right? So make sure that you're dressed in a way that they feel comfortable in doing that. It has an effect on your income opportunity. Consistency with your image will help you grow your business. And it also says to keep it fresh. I was reading an article, I almost want to say it was in Forbes, I don't remember, about how Men's Warehouse is struggling now because they've always sold suits. And the reality is that men just aren't really wearing suits anymore. They might wear a blazer and some jeans and a shirt, but like the traditional suit is certainly going away. So you have to stay up with the times so that you can stay up with your patients. Like, you know, on color trend, right? Matchy-matchy, that's a big thing right now. So I didn't do that on purpose. I just bought this outfit. It happened to be that way. And dressing accordingly. Making the effort to dress professionally shows that you have respect for the people that you serve. And respect, who thinks that's important in a doctor-patient relationship? You're absolutely right, it is huge. It's huge. It's also a way of expressing respect for the situation. So your look may actually change depending on your business circumstances. In my practice, I do traditional chiropractic. I also do exercise therapy, and for very select people that I really like to spend a lot of time with, I do a little bit of personal training because that's what I used to do in the day, and I just still enjoy doing it, so I do it. Not very many hours, but so I don't wear this when I'm personal training somebody. I do wear Lululemon, but you can't see my underwear. And you can't see my bra or anything else like that. I always make sure I dress very conservatively so that my body is not like being all showed off, so we can make sure that we focus on the patient. And that's even part of having your signature style, right? If I'm not wearing blue or something really nice, I'm certainly always gonna wear something that's athletic that fits the part of where I'm at that day. And I don't adjust people and train them on the same days typically either, as far as attire is concerned. Excuse me. So there's a range of what's acceptable. Context matters, as I was just saying. Facial language, body expression, communicate just as much as words do. And your clothing should blend seamlessly with your ability to emanate trustworthiness, competence, and caring. I know this has been a resounding idea in the end. So that is all I have for you today. I hope that this has been beneficial to you. And on an end note, if I could, I have a cause that I work on pretty regularly, and it's called Every Drop Counts. Who can tell me what they do with a water bottle when they throw it away? Oh, you guys are good. I've talked to you before. Well, most people will leave the lid on. They'll like drink it, they'll maybe drink half of it, maybe they'll drink all of it, they'll put the cap back on it and throw it away. But if you put a cap on a plastic bottle, or any bottle for that matter, and you throw it away, what do you think you're actually throwing away?
Water.
You're throwing away water, because there's water left inside of that bottle, and the more water we throw away every day, every year, is the less water future generations are going to have in order to sustain life. So I have an initiative called Every Drop Counts. You can check it out on Facebook, but it's just all about leaving the lids off of your bottles of water. If that's something that resonates with you, please share in the act and also share the message. Thanks, guys.